So lesson 1 is about simple harmonic motion, and we're going to focus on pendulums for this lesson. So simple harmonic motion takes us from uniform circular motion and leads us into the study of mechanical waves. So it's kind of the jumping point between the two. Simple pendulums and vibrating weighted springs, which we talk about next, both exhibit SHM, so simple harmonic motion, since they vibrate, swing, oscillate, or cycle with a regular pattern. An object is going simple harmonic motion if both of the following are true. The object or particle is vibrating with a constant frequency or period of motion, meaning that the time that it takes to swing from one side to the other doesn't change. There is a restoring force towards a central equilibrium point. So within a pendulum, if the pendulum is swinging, of course, it wants to come back to the center. In a spring, if we compress this spring, the spring wants to expand back to its natural uncompressed state or stretched state. It could go the opposite direction, of course. It'll want to snap back. All right, so period is the time to complete one swing. Vibration, bounce, cycle, or oscillation, and frequency is the number of swings, vibrations, bounces, etc., in 1 second. So what is the period and frequency of a vibrating spring that requires 4 minutes and 40 seconds to complete 500 oscillations? So first off, let's change our minutes to seconds. So 4 minutes equals 240 seconds. Therefore, overall, we have 280 seconds here. So it takes 280 seconds to complete 500 oscillations. So we get T from this, and we get that 280 seconds divided by 500 oscillations means that it takes 0.56 seconds to complete one oscillation. If you're not sure exactly how I got that, you could set this up as an equivalent fraction where 280 seconds over 500 oscillations is equal to some number of seconds over one oscillation. You'll get the same answer. All right, now that we have T, we can use our T is equal to 1 over F equation. Rearranging, we get that F is equal to 1 over T. So our frequency is 1 over 0.56 seconds, and we get 1.8 hertz. I went to 2 significant digits here. All of these seem to be exact values, so I don't think there's a way to be super stickler about the significant digits. I don't know. I just went to 2. Mostly, again, because they're like counting numbers, so they're whole or exact. All right, the pendulum was discovered by our man Galileo, who was watching a chandelier swing back and forth in a cathedral. Clearly, he was not enthralled with mass. Galileo started to wonder what determined the period of a pendulum. Was it the effect of changing the length of this? What was the effect of changing the length of the chain? If the mass was changed, would that affect the period of vibration? If the amplitude or size of swing was increased or decreased, would that affect the period? So he did a bunch of experiments like in activity 1, where they changed the mass, they changed the length of the string, they changed the amplitude of the string, and saw if that affected the period. What Galileo found was that the period of a pendulum's motion depends on the length of the pendulum, but it does not depend on the mass strung from that or the amplitude, so how far away from center the pendulum is swung from. So the period of the pendulum can be calculated using this. That equation is on our formula sheet under waves, just above our frequency and period formula. My goodness, words. All right, if a pendulum is 80 centimeters long, what is its period and frequency of vibration? So let's find the period first, which is T. Again, we need to find T first to find frequency, because frequency is 1 over T. Just a rearrangement of that equation. All right, so T equals 2 pi square root of the length of the pendulum all over G. So we get 2 pi. Now L must be in meters, so we're going to convert that 0.2 9.800 meters, and divide by the absolute value of gravity, so 9.81 meters per second squared. When we calculate this all out, just noting again that you're square rooting the fraction here and then multiplying by 2 pi. Just make sure your order of operations is correct in your calculator. We get 1.79 seconds. From there, frequency is equal to 1 over t, so 1 over 1.79 seconds, we get 0.557 hertz. All right, on the planet called something or other, Billy found that a 50 centimeter pendulum completed 20 swings in 33.6 seconds. What is the acceleration of gravity on this planet? So we're going to start with this formula, but we are rearranging for g. So what I did first was I divided t by 2 pi, and that leaves us with L over g. Now, we're going to square both sides. You have to square the entirety of these fractions, so you're going to get t over 2 pi squared is equal to L over g. I should make that very clear too. Now, to get g by itself, g is equal to L divided by t squared over 2 pi. Oops, sorry, that should be all squared. All right, sub in what we know. Well, first off, I guess we need to calculate t. T is equal to the time it takes to do one swing. So we'll divide the time it took to do 20 swings by 20, and we get 1.68 seconds per swing. So put that in. All right, 0.500 meters divided by 1.68 seconds over 2 pi, all squared. And I get 7.00 meters per second squared. That's it, a nice quick intro to this. And I'll see if I can find some lesson videos that prove and do the experiment for the period of a pendulum.